Welcome to Enlightenment of Change on webtalkradio.net. I'm your host, Connie Whitman. Thanks for joining us this week. I hope as you listen every week that no matter what change you're experiencing in life, I really do hope my guests and I provide some tips and strategies and ideas for you to implement immediately. And to help you on your journey of change, of course, I have my free communication style assessment. Please take it. Just go to my website, whitmanassociates.com/CSA for communication style assessment. Everybody loves it. It's a fun tool, but you'll learn what your superpowers are as you communicate and how people perceive you from a communication perspective, as well as spotlight some of your blind spots, which kind of are usually the more important piece of the puzzle. Also, if you're loving the show, please subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Share with your peeps. I love to spread the love. And if you rate and review, I do read the reviews and I'm touched every time I read them. You guys mean everything to me and I'm beyond grateful. So let's start this show with my motivational quote, which is by Audrey Hepburn. And Audrey Hepburn says, "Nothing is impossible. The word itself says, I'm possible." So what does mindset have to do with business? And do you know if you have a successful or a distinctive mindset, or do you have no idea what the heck I'm talking about? Well, today I have an amazing guest, an amazing friend. Her name is Jenny Ryce, and Jenny is a mindset and accredited executive coach, speaker, podcast host of Winning with Wellness, and the president of Your Holistic Earth. Your Holistic Earth is a global community advocating holistic wellness, connection, and professional collaboration. Come and play. I am part of that group also. This inclusive community unites health seekers, leading experts in holistic wellness, and heart-centered businesses like myself, a holistic online marketplace and directory that connects those who need help to those that provide help. Good place to be. And improving overall wellness and prosperity for all. We support, we guide, and you thrive. Please help me welcome my amazing, wonderful, beautiful friend Jenny to the show. So Jen, thanks for being on.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's always an honor and a thrill to be here. Anytime that you and I get to share and chat, it's
so magic, baby.
Yeah. Thank you.
And it's so funny, guys. Jenny and I were just chatting before I hit the recording, and we've known each other just several months, and we clearly have been through lives together because we pick up each other's sentences. It's like we're almost like an old married couple, which is a little weird in and of itself because she's in Canada on the West Coast and I'm in the U.S. on the East Coast. So we're like a bazillion miles apart. Kind of funny. Anyway. All right. So Jen, first thing I want to do is, why is redefining wellness just so important?
You know, this is something that I've really stepped into in my own personal journey, and I have kind of become this champion of this mission and vision, is to empower people to realize what wellness can mean for them, because I didn't realize that I was actually unwell. You know, I'm from a generation and an age and a time in life, and not that it's wrong, where I was raised to understand that you were either healthy, which meant you were, going through life, or you were sick. And being sick meant you needed to stay home from school, possibly. You might have had a fever, going to the doctor, or worst case scenario, you're in the hospital. And there were only two camps of wellness. You were either well or you were, super sick. What I didn't realize is many of areas of my life and times in my life, I lived in this gray area, which was right in the middle. And what is amazing to me is so many of us live in this gray area where we're actually not well, or we're not traditionally sick, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I've taken this mantra and this belief that we need to understand and redefine our wellness, because we live in this gray area where we could be thriving so much more deeply, if that makes sense. So that's why it's important, is understanding, where we sit.
And talk to me, when you say wellness, right, there's so many layers to that. Again, it's not just I'm healthy, I'm not on medicine, and I could go to work, versus I'm sick, I'm medicated, or I'm in the hospital, right? So that gray area in between. Define some of the things that you define as wellness.
Oh my gosh, that is such a rich question. All right, listeners, get in. Got a pen?
Exactly.
So when I think of wellness, and it's evolved for me. So again, I encourage everyone to take this journey for themselves and their own discovery. But I look at the three facets of my life. I look at my mind, I look at my body, and I look at my spirit or my soul. Like, how am I feeling in that spiritual realm as well? So for me, when I think about my mind, how am I talking to myself on a daily basis? Yes. What is my internal dialogue doing? Am I living in a state of fear, or am I thriving? Am I stressed out all the time? That's one of those areas of where I really think about my wellness when it comes to my mind. Of course, it's deeper than that, but you don't want me on the show for 6 hours.
Well, maybe.
but I mean, that's just one facet. When I think of my body, I really want to be in a proactive healthcare model or mindset. So when I talk about proactive, when we think of westernized medicine or allopathic medicine, it's generally a reactive model. So again, I'm not feeling good. I get a prescription, or maybe I broke my arm. I go and get it bandaged, those kind of things. When we think about redefining our wellness and we think about our body, I think about that really proactive care. And proactive is, what am I eating? What am I doing in reference to physical activity? Am I resting? Am I sleeping? And of course, actually, sleep kind of heals all three things, by the way. Yes. It's like a super important part. Body could be consuming enough water in a day. We wake up dehydrated, most of us, and we're already starting, our bodies are started in a scarcity mode, which is interesting. So we want to make sure we replenish. I know before we both sat down for this interview, you're like, you got your water? You ready? So when we think of wellness and redefining that, those are some simple things. And then spirit can mean anything. Do you have a solid foundation and a belief system in maybe a different guiding force? And for some people that could be religion based. For some people it could be Mother Earth. For other people it could be all things. It could be multiple areas of resources where we are connected to listening and tuning into our own spirituality and our intuition. So what's really empowering when we think of wellness, if we take care of those three kind of pillars in our lives, or those points on the triangle, there's so many different, symbolisms that we could connect to that. But those are the three pillars that really connects our overall wellness together. And when we think about defining our wellness in a new way, we legitimately are putting ourselves in a proactive healthcare space. And when I say healthcare, we all come from, whoever's listening, we all have different care systems. In Canada, we've got our healthcare system. I know in the States, you guys have either paid or not, or you guys have it different as well. But when I talk about healthcare, I want to be in charge of my own healthcare.
Absolutely.
If I take a proactive model, I'm actually healthier. And so my big discovery came when I was in my mid to early 40s, and I physically was extremely fit. And I've shared this on one of your episodes before. And so I can't remember which one that was, but by all means, guys, dig into it. It was a great episode. But what I didn't realize that even though on the outside and physically, so my physical body looked healthy, I was so sick, and I had no idea, because my mind and my spirit weren't taken care of. Yeah. And what was happening in that is I realized, we hear the saying all the time, we are what we eat. I'm sure you've heard that. It's not a Canadian thing.
Definitely.
We are what we consume in all areas of our lives.
Yes.
What makeup we choose to put on our skin, what liquids we put into our bodies, what we read, what we watch, all of those things actually create an impact on our health. And I mean, the thing that's wild is if we stand in this really proactive healthcare, we actually start healing the medical system.
It's true.
And I know that's like huge thinking, and like maybe a mic drop needs to happen or something.
Yeah, let's do that. But you're right. You're right.
right? Like when we think about it, if I'm a healthier human being by the choices I make and the things that I do and what I consume, I actually, like, my doctor phoned me and said, hey, you're turning 50. This was a few months ago. I haven't seen you in ages. We should probably do a checkup and make sure all the things are working right. It's been that long that I've had to go to my doctor.
Yeah.
Which I love my doctor. I think she's amazing. And so, yes, the company I work for really promotes holistic wellness. However, it's not us versus them. I'm telling you, if I need to march into my doctor, it's the first place I'm going. I don't hesitate. I go to my naturopath. I got a whole team.
Me too.
Whole team.
Yep.
So when I talk about redefining wellness, it's about finding what areas of your life that you feel you are not thriving in and fueling those areas because you have choice. This is the thing. We've been programmed, trained, thought, raised to believe we don't have choice.
Yeah.
And every single day you have choice.
Yeah, and I just want to comment on a couple of things. So, the mind, body, spirit, to me, that's what this show is about. Because if we're not healthy people, and again, mind, body, spirit, we could never be effective, healthy, prosperous, impactful, whatever word you want to use out in the world, right? So my two boys are graduated now. My older son graduated right before COVID, the poor thing, and then everything shut down. But here's the cool thing about him, right? He's turning 25, and because my husband and I are both spiritual, right? And we have crystals around the house, and the way we speak about the universe, watch what you're saying. Did you hear what you just said? Is that really what you meant? What vibration is that? We're dorks in this house. I could admit it. Okay. So we talk like that. Well, it's interesting because my son, especially my older one, the younger one just turned 22, but the older one, he says things to me like, Mom, did you hear what you just said? And I'm like, what did I just say? Especially if I'm fatigued at night. He said, you better change it. The universe heard it. And we giggle, right? So that's one thing that I commend him on. And he listens to podcasts about mindset and different things. So kudos to him at such a young age. I don't know that I was that enlightened at age 25. Second thing, you were or were not?
I was not.
No, when I look back, I think I was just a moron. But anyway, so maybe not a moron, but I totally was not. I didn't even know what the spiritual thing was, right? Universe and all this other stuff. Second thing, he's played hockey since the age of 5, played collegiate hockey, tremendous athlete, works out in the gym, the whole thing, cholesterol, all those numbers looked good. So from a perspective, he was healthy. Well, since COVID, he has lost 70 pounds. Wow. He looks, it's like sometimes I look at him and I go, who are you, right? Now, he didn't look bad beforehand. It's not like, right, because he was fit and strong and muscular. He was working out too much. So he was out of balance, right, from a strength standpoint. He thought the muscles were strong. He's stronger now probably than he's ever been, right? The other thing I want to comment is the word choice. So everybody keeps saying, what did you do? And everybody thinks he took diet pills and stuff. He has not. He said, I cut my portion. Mm-hmm. I don't eat after 8 p.m. I slow down. He's the last one to eat, where before he would scoff his food down. He slowed the pace of what he's eating, and he's lost 70 pounds and continued to work out, not as much as he had been. So just those little choices that he made, and he didn't make them all at once, and little by little, now he's 70 pounds down. So again, I commend a young person like that for taking the bull by the horns and saying, I choose not only to lift weights and be healthy, but what I'm ingesting, I have to be smarter with, right? And not eating after 8 p.m. And all of the, I didn't say, Jen, it wasn't my husband and I guiding him. He did his own research. He found what he wanted to do, and he did it for himself. And that's another thing. I think we take the position of, I better do this for the family, and then we give up our own health to be able to provide and care for the family or whatever's going on, because we all have chaotic lives. You and I have chaotic lives, right? But I want everybody to hear what Jenny said. We always have a choice in every aspect of our life, both family, personally yourself, your career, your business, whatever it is. So choice, when you said that, I got goosebumps, because I think we take choice away from ourselves and say things, Jenny, like, and I know your clients, because you're a mindset coach, but my clients too, I'm never going to be good at that. Well, I can't do that. Oh, that'll never happen to me. You're taking choice away from yourself by going into those detrimental mantras, right? Have you found that as well?
Oh, absolutely. Because if you proclaim, so an I am statement is actually a proclamation of self. Whether it's said out loud or whether you say it internally, quietly in your mind, your brain doesn't know the difference.
Yeah.
So I am having a crappy day. Of course you are. You just declared that you're having a crappy day. Can I say that on the show?
Yes. People have said worse.
But, I'm having a great day. It for one, you can feel the energy shift and the change. And the powerful thing is, your thoughts become your reality. Your words become your reality. Mm-hmm. So when we sit, and I love that you brought this up about your son, he made a choice to choose change and action. There is no quick fix out there, you guys. I'm here to tell you, I've tried the fast pass. And I'm a Disney fan, so I love the fast pass. But I've tried the fast way to get there. It doesn't work. Creating change is a life decision. And it takes time, and it takes energy, and it takes effort. You can't manifest an awesomeness from your couch. It doesn't work that way.
That's right.
So, really stepping into it, and what you said too, which was beautiful, and I hope you guys are listening to this as well, is start small. What's one thing you can do today? One thing. And start building on that every single day. And it's not whether you fall off the wagon, it's when. You are going to have a relapse. You're a human being. You spent, in my case, 50 years to build some of my habits that I've been breaking and redesigning and changing. Of course I'm going to make mistakes. Of course, the other night I was like, oh, I really want some chocolate chips. So what did I do? I ate chocolate chips. Do I know better? 100%.
They were yummy going down.
I was like, it's dark chocolate. I'll just have a handful. But the thing is, it's learning to catch when it happens, to be kind to yourself when it does, and go, okay, I had my bite. Now I'm done. If we move into self-loathing mode and we erode our own spirit and use our mind as a weapon versus a tool, that's when we really find that we can't step into success. And we literally are determining for ourselves and making a proclamation that we're not capable. And, when I invite people to look at redefining their wellness, again, and I said this at the beginning, it's all about what's important to you. So for your son, he still wanted to stay fit. He just wanted to lean down. So he changed his pathway. It's kind of like, and Connie, because you and I work with business owners and business leaders all the time, I always ask them, redefine what success means to you. We were all raised to think you got to have a car, a house, bank account, the things. I'm 50. Trust me, that's not what I deem as success anymore.
Absolutely.
To me, success is my ability to bend time, go on vacation when I want. Okay, when we can fly, it's going to happen. But to travel and do adventures with my family, that's success to me. Whatever as long as the bank account allows those couple things to happen, I'm rich. I'm super rich. Of course, my health is way up there in that success realm, but I'm talking business right now.
Absolutely.
So when you redefine your wellness, look at your life and where you sit right now and ask yourself a couple questions. Am I thriving? Am I thriving? And what does thriving mean for me? Not your parents, not your grandma, not your best friend, not your husband, spouse, loved one, What does thriving mean for you? And for some of us, it's just for the first time, maybe we can walk a kilometer, which, would be 2.2 miles.
Thank you for the clarification on that.
Yeah. It would be I can't remember. Yeah. 1 kilometer is 1.96. Anyway, So yes, whatever that looks like for you. I love it when we get confused on the, it's like when I drive my car, if it doesn't switch over, I'm like, I don't know if I'm speeding. Let's go.
That's so funny. Yeah, a little bit of heavy foot too. Yeah, and I just want to comment. I was on a podcast recently, and it was an excellent question. And he had heard me on a podcast and then asked if I would come on his podcast. He thought I gave a good interview. So that's very complimentary, right? And he said, you know what you said on the other one, that we all have this negative record player. So we giggled because he's a peer of mine, right? And you're a little younger than me. But he said, to find what a record player is for the young listeners, and we kind of chuckled. But, it's that groove. When you listen to that record over and over and over again, it would skip. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you, right? Because it had that deep groove. And we do that in our brain. And so he said, I heard that on the podcast and I'd like to dig in there. And he said, how do you get rid of the groove? Like, how do you change that recording? And it was just such a great question. And so I thought about it for a minute. I said, I think what I do is I pause at that moment and think, wow, where did that negative thought or negative perception or whatever it was negative though, where did it come from? And that you have to sit with it though, guys, sometimes. And I would go back, and usually it's something from my childhood where I saw a situation and the way I perceived it as a 5-year-old child, right? And then when you look back now, you think, whoa, that was the wrong perception or interpretation, because it was a little kid's perception, not what was really happening in reality. So oftentimes when I pause and I think, wow, where did that come from? And I go back, it's a silly event. No, usually nobody got hurt, but it's a silly event as a child that I looked at that as, oh, that happened, this must be so. And now you look at it as an adult and thought, wow, was that a false reality? And I've been living in that truth because that one negative thing, it's shown up several times. So, this isn't easy. Everything Jenny and I are talking about. And Jenny, one more thing I wanted to comment on. You said, pick one little thing, implement it, get used to it, and then move forward. And you also talked about dehydration in the morning. I don't remember what class it was. It has to be 10 years ago. I did an online thing. You and I were always learning. And one of the things the facilitator said is, we are the most dehydrated in the morning. You should get up in the morning and drink. And for those of you that are watching on YouTube, I have a huge water bottle always by my bed. I fill it at night with cold water. And then in the morning, I get up and I drink it before I even get out of bed. And then I go about my business, to shower and all those other things that I have to do. It's a habit now. And when you just said that about the dehydration, I'm like, oh, I knew that. Oh, I drink my water every morning. I don't even think, it's like breathing, right? I don't think about it anymore. And that's probably been about a decade. So again, it's putting those good behaviors in place and duplicating them. And I love how you said 50 years of habits. All those habits are not good. So what are the ones we want to choose to change, and do them small little increments, not huge, grandiose things, right?
Well, and as you dig into changing habits, I invite you to actually do a habit inventory. Become conscious of the things that you're doing habitually. And if it's a negative reward, like if you reward yourself. So one of my habits before I changed went on my wellness journey, I would have a really rough day at work or a busy day at work or whatever. And I would come home, I'd open the door, I'd walk in, I'd be like, oh, I want a glass of red wine. And I'm sure a few people listening will resonate either with maybe a beer, maybe a cocktail, whatever that is, but that might resonate with people. But what started to happen with that habit is I would come home whether I had a good day. I'd be like, woo, I'm going to celebrate. Can't wait to have a glass of wine. And before I knew it, I was having 1 or 2 glasses of wine a night, which for some people isn't a lot, but for myself and my health goals and all of that, that's not a great way to celebrate or soothe. I mean, we're talking alcohol. It's probably not the best thing for anybody, but I'm not here to preach or get into that. But what I realized, what the habit I wanted to create was coming home, celebrating or soothing myself in some way, having a moment to just decompress. Yeah. That's what the wine was allowing for me. So I didn't change the actual habit. I changed the
Mechanism.
right? So I would come home and I started saying to myself, oh, I can't wait to have a really nice cup of herbal tea. So I did it in the winter because wine and tea are cozy, right? I did it in the winter. And well, part of that was helpful. I don't drink alcohol at all anymore.
Really?
Yeah, not at all. I haven't had a drop in, oh my gosh, I think 7 years or something.
Wow, that's interesting.
I don't even think about it.
That's
unless
interesting.
I'm having this conversation, obviously. However, again, it's finding a habit that I already had in place that wasn't serving me. How could I help it work for me?
Absolutely.
So if you get up in the morning, the first thing you grab is a cup of coffee, put your water bottle right in front of your coffee maker. And you can't have coffee until you have your cup of water. So it doesn't have to be reinventing the wheel, you guys. It can be something as simple as changing, because the reward is what you're seeking. So from the caffeine, you want to be like your coffee. Most of us want to be kind of soothed into the day. It perks us up. We don't realize that water actually soothes our need to eat. It fuels us and gives us energy. And it also makes our body feel like we're thriving, right? So like you talked about that scarcity piece in water, what that course talked to you about. So you will be shocked what water will do for you. So at 10 o'clock, I usually get, like, I need a snack. First thing I make sure I do is I drink water and I sit for about 5 minutes, and then I determine if I actually need a snack.
That's smart.
And most times I don't. I just needed water. So It's one of these things. It's just become aware of your habits, become aware of your dialogue around your habits, and I love that you said, and I want to tap into that really quickly, is you talked about understanding where the story come from. You've got to get quiet. You've got to listen to it. And does it really serve you? Trust me, I've got stories that I've carried for so long. I come from this incredible background of entrepreneurs. I mean, we're talking years of thriving business owners. Some of their habits weren't so healthy. Working to all hours of the night to be successful is actually not my version of success. But I thought that was the success, which I know is tying us back to our conversation a few minutes ago. That's what I thought success was supposed to be. You worked really, really hard. You worked really, really hard. And you got what you wanted, but you worked hard all day long. Well, my version of success has definitely evolved. Do I work hard? Yeah. But I make sure I have time for me. I have time for my health, my food, my kids, all those kind of things. But one small thing. One small thing
is all it takes. We're almost out of time, but I do have one last question for you. What advice do you have for people that may be feeling overwhelmed? And I think that overwhelm has become just part of, well, I'm overwhelmed. Like, what are you going to do? Just deal with it. We're all overwhelmed, right? So what advice do you have for people who are truly overwhelmed?
This is going to sound so counterproductive, you guys, but I'm going to invite you to you need to stop moving. I know that sounds crazy, but you need to carve at least a half an hour out of your day at minimum where you do nothing. Because what happens when we're in a state of overwhelm, we overcommit. We're in a really big reactive space versus a response space. And I think I shared this actually in the last episode a bit about how to work through that. The key thing is you've got to slow down so you can speed up. And if you're constantly saying yes to things, you're going to be overwhelmed. Because what happens is we just grab at tasks. If I don't set my day in the morning, so I have what's called my morning ritual. Some people call it their morning routine, I literally do the same thing every single morning. I get up and walk my dog. I do Pilates. I shower. I eat my breakfast, kiss my family. They leave. I come into my office. And then I start my work morning routine. I set my diffuser. I put on a beautiful scent that whatever I'm feeling. So if I'm anxious or overwhelmed, I put on essential oils that support that. If I'm feeling like I need more energy, I'll put on a citrus. See, like those kind of things. I set the stage, and then I sit down and I make sure that I prep my day. And I look at what I'm doing and I highlight the things that have to happen. Because when I get overwhelmed, the first thing I do is start doing things that are easy so I can say I ticked it off the list. Well, does it matter if it's ticked off the list if it's not important? So the key is creating that small window of time. I actually do this exact task at the end of my day as well. And I set what I'm going to do the next day. So that when I do my review, after I've kind of slept on it, slowed down, I'm like, okay, is this really the priority? I change things around if necessary and I move into my day.
Smart.
Sadly, and I want to share this really quick. I know we're running out of time, but this is so important, and I hope those that are listening hear me. Being overwhelmed is not a badge of honor. It doesn't mean you're good. It doesn't mean you're successful, and it doesn't mean that you're going to get promoted. Okay? Killing yourself so that you can say you're busy is not a way to find success. It's a way to find yourself either in an early grave, okay, or miserable, divorced, whatever.
Broke.
Not living your best life.
Absolutely.
So somewhere, somehow in the world of business and the world of life, when people say, how are you doing? You want to you got to list all these things. It's like, bottom line, be proud of the fact you're like, I'm doing great. I took a half an hour today and did nothing and listened to my thoughts. That's the sign of success. That's the sign of connecting to self. That's the sign of putting your mind, body, and spirit first so that you can step into a place of strength versus overwhelm. And I know we're running out of time, but I just had to share that.
Yeah, and I'm giggling. So it's so funny. I recently, you and I I don't know what we were on together, something we were together, and Jenny was speaking, whatever the group dynamic was, and said, oh, you need to slow down to speed up. And for some reason, Jenny, that was like, whoa, because you know me, I'm in hyperspeed. And I thought, wow, that was just so profound. So I constantly think, whoa, you're going too fast. Slow down so you could speed up. Because once you slow down, now your next step is with thought, not just I'm running to the next thing. So fast forward, I was at an event and I was on a panel group discussion. I was one of the experts, and the moderator said, what is one thing that you've learned recently that was profound for you? And it was right after Jenny, you had said that. And so the group answered, I think I was the last one. And I said, oh, somebody recently, this just really hit home for me. Slow down to speed up. How counterintuitive, and yet such the truth. And everybody was like, wow, like that was a good one. I'm like, yeah, I have a good friend. Yep, she's really smart.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that.
But Jenny, you move fast. I move fast, right? We're always in that go mode. But truly, it's just so profound. Slow down to speed up, because really, when you're slowing down, you're moving forward with intention and selection and choice. See, it goes back to that word choice again. And then now you said, like, you end your day, and then the next morning you slow down to speed up. You don't just come in and hit the road, hit your desk. You look at the list. Is this still the priority for the day? So that's an idea of slowing down to speed up. I just wanted to provide an example.
And you know what I love about that? And again, it's this moment of, I can really check my internal dialogue. I can really check, how do you not have a good day when you do all these little things to put myself first, to set up my day? I make sure my water's ready. Like all the things, everything I need, everything around me is intentional.
Absolutely.
And so how can I not flourish within that day? So, if you guys leave with nothing else after this call, just take time for you.
And a half hour. I mean, really, come on, guys, a half hour. Here's the other funny thing, and I want everybody to understand this. Jenny and I, we are definitely positive thinkers. I think I said this at the beginning of the show. we have really bad days too, right? We don't live in a utopian world, and our orbit isn't perfection, furthest from the truth, right? So we have crap that hits us every day, people who treat us crappy for whatever their issues are. So we are affected as well, but it's how you respond to those afflictions is whether you thrive or not. And I really do believe that. And it's all about how we respond. And again, that slowing down to speed up allows you that opportunity to think about how to respond. And I just think that's profound. So that's a good way to end the show, right, Jen?
Yes, I know, or we'll just be on for hours.
I know. Yeah, Jen and I have no problem talking, guys. So you can see that. Listen, I know you all need Jenny in your life. I am part of her orbit. She's part of mine. We really support each other in business. So please check her out. She's one of my favorite peeps out there. She just gives really good information and shares so generously from her heart. And that's my kind of people, right? Those heart-centered business owners. So please email her if you have any specific questions about mindset or any of the things we kind of talked about today. Her email is Jenny, Jenny, at yourholisticearth.ca. Canada, guys. She's not a .com. So Jenny at yourholisticearth.ca. And of course, her website, check it out, is yourholisticearth.ca. Also, Jenny, I know you are launching, or it might even be launched by the time the show posts. Go to her website, yourholisticearth.ca. And what will they find there? Some new stuff.
Yeah, we're really excited about, we're creating a incredible membership for people. They can either join for free as a wellness seeker, or it's a small nominal fee as a wellness warrior, and it's going to provide you resources and tools to support those three major pillars in your life. And every day, if you take 15, 20 minutes and tap into that membership community, it's going to help fuel you and provide you those resources to move forward. The one thing, and actually I don't even know if I shared this with you yet, Connie, that I'm most excited about is anybody that does move into that paid membership piece. We actually are partnered with different organizations. We're going to be gifting one on behalf of that individual to somebody who couldn't afford the membership.
Wow.
So, we're encouraging and inviting people to redefine their wellness. But the best part is by the time they've stepped in to help their own journey, they're already gifting it to somebody that they've never met before. So it's a place that we are so proud of to be building, and I can't wait for it to just help people on their journey of redefining their wellness. So,
absolutely. And I'm my content. I'm going to have some content on there to help with this. Right. She's stuck with me. I keep telling Jenny, you see, I keep popping up in your life, but yeah, I'm happy to support this guy. So again, just, check out the website and just see if it's a good fit for you. If you're searching, again, it's just such a nominal way to jump in and just get some really good context. So yourholisticearth.ca, check it out. Don't forget, go to whitmanassociates.com/CSA and get your free communication style assessment. Jenny and I love giving things away. It's so much fun.
That's the best part of our day.
It is, right? That we could be generous with all our peeps out there. So Jenny, thank you so much for being on. Just, I always love spending time with you, and your insight and your kindness and your calmness it just resonates with me so deeply. And I hope that everybody listening today, that you felt Jenny's just energy, and that her advice and recommendations and tips that you can apply, easy peasy, something simple in your life as soon as today, which is always my hope with the show. So Jen, thanks again for being on. Love having you, sister.
Thank you. Oh,
yeah, a blessing. I am grateful for you, my friend. And all of you, I am grateful for you. And I hope you will join me weekly as we question, build, and discover together that, yes, we all have change. Yes, sometimes we choose it, sometimes we don't. But navigating, maybe it is a little bit easier after listening to the shows where my guests and I provide those tips and strategies to help you navigate and make the waters a little less rough. And that is truly my hope and my wish as part of the show, and why I really host the show. It's for you. I am here, my guests are here, and we truly want everyone to be empowered. The better we do individually, the world becomes a truly magical place. So thank you for tuning in. Jenny, thank you for being an amazing guest. You've been listening to Enlightenment of Change with me, your host, Connie Whitman, on webtalkradio.net. And everyone, I truly am just in awe and honored that you're on this journey with me, and that you find value in the content that my guests and I provide. And I just always get so excited hosting the show, and I can't wait to see you next week. Do one little thing, change one little thing, and see what inspiration is a catalyst for you, or what charge you get from that inspiration, and what magic you create in your life, in your orbit. I wish you all the best. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week.